Jhone, and you're in the Gen Zone. Now look, every now and then I see things about pedophilia in the press.
Folks, my name is Miranda. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a licensed professional counselor and sex therapist in Erie, Pennsylvania. And today I want to talk about minor attracted persons.
We're not covering Pizzagate enough, even though we covered it every day, to expose the Satanism and the occult and the code words for pedophilia.
I usually categorize it as people that should be in jail if they hurt a child and under serious supervision when released, which is provided by Megan's Law. However, when the conversation of sexualizing children starts being normalized, we as a country are way off our axis, even if the continuous discussion about it is how wrong it is. So why am I talking about it now? Well, it's because you guys know I do a QAnon segment on this show. And I've also joked before about the Hollywood elites and their supposed adrenochrome obsessions.
Adrenochrome?
But is art imitating life now?
I use the term minor attracted person or M.A.P. for multiple reasons. First of all, because I think it's important to use terminology for groups that members of that group want others to use for them. No one can control who they're attracted to at all.
With the business of human trafficking generating over $150 billion, most of which is attributed to minors, meaning children under 18, why do my people on the left give so much ammunition to conspiracy theorists and far-right conservatives like Marjorie Taylor Greene? Why is the left talking about M.A.P.s, minor attracted people? Why is this even a conversation, much less a TED Talk? And why are there reports of Governor Newsom releasing 1,000 pedophiles from serving full sentences without any clarity or explanation? Why feed the maniacs that showed up January 6th? We cannot continue down this road as if this is not a bigger problem than drugs. We cannot continue to act as if the people connected to this type of behavior in our government can simply go on without being canceled or eliminated from public office like y'all did during the Me Too movement. Otherwise, this is what happens when you allow the deplorables and uneducated to embrace the conspiracies and be ignored. Other politicians embrace them and their conspiracies.
I love the poorly educated.
And we see how that turned out. Do you all want to see that again?
Gen Zone.
This week I decided to come from behind the desk and we're out in the field. We're talking to some different people about the political landscape and some interesting points of view. Now, the economy doesn't seem to be as bad as mainstream media is making it seem. We're here at the Grove in LA. It's pretty packed. Let's talk to some people. All right, welcome to the Gen Zone. So we have Ryan and Luca here, and I'm just gonna ask them, is your Christmas budget different this year than last year due to the economy and inflation?
I would say so, overall.
Oh, yes and no.
Inflation, to me, I don't know what they mean by it.
Honestly, we don't celebrate Christmas. Yeah.
The APR rate is 9%
Ridiculous.
now. It's ridiculous, so you can't get anything right now.
So because of that, since you have to spend more money for a car, you can't really spend as much money as you would like shopping and getting gifts.
Yeah.
So you save money every year. There we go.
I feel like I'm wiser on where I spend it, but I try to be a little bit more conscious. But
it's all about giving. So I feel like I'll stretch the dollar for those that I love and then hold myself off for 3-4 months in order to make them happy. So
I'm definitely walking more, finding excuses to go somewhere close by and walk, just so I don't have a car, a reason to drive and save money here and there so that I can use it for family and friends and all those things, holidays.
No, not for me personally. I have a little higher income.
So finding more ways to save money this
Yeah.
year than last year.
I try to rationalize it with being online. I get exercise and supporting businesses that are close by me. So, but if it was normal, I would definitely try to do whatever I want. So there's definitely a change.
yeah, I feel like I'm always Mrs. Claus and always giving and all that. So it's not too much of a change. Yeah.
Pretty much the same. Have you guys been seeing any differences in your monthly expenses because of inflation?
Yeah, especially like when it comes to like gas and like grocery bills and things like that. It's, everything's a little bit more expensive these days. So
Not this year specifically, but prior years when I was younger, yes.
We still we see it with like Black Friday shopping, even stuff like that. Even if it's not for anybody else, just to get a good deal, it's harder to.
it's a little bit harder to manage bills and things like that, and so on and so forth. And so
The gas situation is where I see the inflation. Other than that, no. I buy presents just the same.
Just the same.
Chenzo.
Shout out to more Black excellence and Black history being made. Soulmates, let's put our hands together for Hakeem Jeffries. He's an attorney that served as the U.S. representative for New York's 8th Congressional District for almost a decade. He reps a district that covers the eastern part of Brooklyn and the southwestern part of Queens and New York City. Congressman Jeffries is the first Black lawmaker to lead a party in Congress, and he has made it clear that he intends to work with Republicans for the benefit of all Americans, not just the ones that are Democrats. Finally, unification in Congress. Good luck. Let's give him another round of applause.
Chenzo.
I saw a report that said that COVID is peaking again in Los Angeles. Has that affected some of the things that you guys have been doing this holiday season?
I mean, just get used to it.
I mean, I think that we've come to a point where like we're all very aware of the threat, and it's up to a person's own personal duty to take care of themselves and those around them. If you are sick, be respectful of the people around you. Stay home. Don't go out. Take care of yourself. Go see a doctor. Don't leave your house.
It doesn't affect me much, but it's still Florida. I don't have a position on COVID left or right. I just don't want people dying. But whether it's open or not, it doesn't matter.
But I think we're to a point, especially how China is doing, super crazy lockdowns and people are rioting. It's a huge issue, and
I mean, if you're really scared of it, at this point it's not a threat anymore for health, scientifically. Just get used to it. If you're scared of it, that's it.
the way I've come to look at it is it's the 21st century flu. In 1920 we had a massive flu pandemic, and they did the same thing. They shut the country down. People were quarantined for the same amount of time, just about a year, and look where we are now. People get their flu vaccine every year. You call it a day. You go about your life, and so I think 50, 60 years down the road we'll be in the same place. You'll get your flu vaccine, you'll get your COVID vaccine, and you'll go on.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a reason for it, but I think we're familiar with it enough at this point that people kind of know what things are or not. So just leave it short and do what you have to do.
How do you guys feel about Dr. Fauci being under investigation?
Honestly, I didn't know who he was, but I think that some difficult choices were made at that period in time, and a lot of things that various people do and do not agree with, and
Fauci 100% had some sort of dealings with the Chinese.
When it comes to that type of situation, like, what can you do? Like, you try to make the best decision that you possibly can, and the most informed decision. And
I don't know what it was, but it had to be, because like Obama under his care signed off, you know, grants and things, and like look at Ukraine, that's the #1 hot spot other than China for not vaccinations but diseases and things like that, and look what's happening there.
I mean, obviously, I'm not a doctor. I wouldn't be able to make those types of calls, you know. So I think he did the best job with what he was handled, but, you know, in retrospective, I see that there were definitely probably flaws in his plan. So, yeah, and mishandled use of the situation as well.
There's some sort of money, billions. I don't know what the billions are. I'm not involved, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's above us. You know?
The WHO was corrupt?
Of course, yeah. 100% corrupt.
I do have to have vaccines to go to all these places and all that. So depending on, you know, how your lifestyle is and all that, I guess that is also part of it too, because now they're making it like you have to have this to go here or there or whatever. Or like even with some jobs and stuff like that, you have to have this to do this, you know. So then it comes down to your choice and if you want to do that.
Did you guys hear that in New York, the employees that were fired for not getting the vaccine are getting rehired and they're getting back pay for the money that they didn't get while they were fired for not getting vaccinated?
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Chenzo.
The gag is, this ad is paid for by the Republican Party. So is Trump not running as the Republican candidate? There seems to be some turmoil overflowing in the GOP. Not only do they not get along with Democrats, they don't even get along with each other. And add the fact that half of his family is opting out of his campaign run, Trump is basically running solo. Which means that now that his Twitter account is reinstated, the madness is about to begin.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
We know he'll be talking to Q and the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, half of them already in jail. Also Nick Fuentes, David Duke, and occasionally this guy. Trump back on Twitter means all bets are off and all the lights are on.
Chenzo.
I have to ask, who do you guys think should run for president for 2024? Me!
Kind of out of the movement, some of the stuff that's going on here, so who are the candidates?
Who are the candidates?
Yeah, that's a good one.
To be honest, I haven't been happy with the candidates for a while.
Honestly, anyone but Trump.
Kevin Sanders for president.
The only one that I kind of liked was Bernie Sanders, but you know, it is what it is. You know, I mean,
There's a lot of controversies going on. I mean, I think Biden should rerun, old or not. I mean, my grandpa's 80-something, and I would rather him be the president.
Personally, I want Andrew Yang to run again, and if I had to put into words what I think is going on politically is that there's a lack of competition because there's only two choices. It's red or blue, and I think that the best way to solve polarization is to give more options.
Do you think a woman should be president?
Of course, all day.
I mean, yes, but I mean, we all see like sometimes how difficult they make it for women. But I mean, it should be up to everyone, you know, men or women.
I was gonna say a woman, like that's like love Elizabeth Warren, love, you know, like any woman would be great.
Men have been doing it for a long time. You know, why not?
I hate Ron DeSantis with 100% passion. It's not just because like he's different. I don't like Ron DeSantis because he doesn't give us. I just feel as if he's not for the average person.
So anyone will do but Trump.
Like, how can you make a decision for a country if you can't even make the proper decision for a state?
Did you vote in the past midterms?
I did, yeah.
We went together down the
We
street
did,
and
we did.
everything,
We
got
went
on
to
sticker.
LACMA and we voted there together, and it was great.
So I'm currently, I'm unable to.
You voted for the midterms as well? I know you said you were out the country.
I did not for that.
I did.
I am part of the Dreamers, so I came here when I was younger, so I'm currently not able to.
It's really I think the vote by mail is really convenient. I think it's something that they should implement countrywide, because I know it's such a difficult thing for, you know, various types of cultures and peoples to, you know, get out of their day of work to go vote. And I think just giving people that opportunity and that chance to vote through mail and is just so helpful, and just makes such a huge difference. So that's something that I would love to see in the future.
I vote by mail as well.
Same.
Yeah, I've been doing it. My first time I voted was in 2016, so I've been doing it every 2 years since then. It's super convenient for me.
Absolutely.
It's been good. I mean, we're like immensely grateful for the opportunity, you know, but it's always a little hard just because if you keep up with like the state of our program, you know, we've often been in limbo. If it's canceled, if it's not, we have to renew every 2 years, so sometimes that gets difficult. Like, is this time, you know, my renew application, is it going to go through this time? What are the current laws? And just keeping up with that can sometimes be stressful, because it feels like your fate is in someone else's hands and there's not much you can do about it. Yeah, so the process is for renewals actually. So you have to fill in the required paperwork. You have to send in pictures of you know, your last ID, and then you also have to pay a fee that's around $400, $500, and then you submit it, and then you get a background check just to make sure that during the 2 years you don't have any felonies or anything like that. And then after that, if all the paperwork goes smoothly, then they send you a notice to get your biometrics done. And so every 2 years you get your biometrics taken, you get your pictures taken, and then they send out your employment authorization card.
Genzo.
So previously we talked about FTX and the Democrats. However, what we found fascinating this week was that it wasn't only the Democrats that took money. The Republicans took money from FTX as well.
Say it ain't so, Joe.
Now, how come you didn't speak about that, Tucker? With all the talk that these right-wing media pundits had to say about Biden and FTX, not one of them had a word to say about Mitch McConnell. Rumor has it the good old Moscow Mitch bagged it M. I mean, Sam Bankman-Fried is really a piece of work, ain't he? I mean, he's sweetened both sides of the pot. This is why he's on media tour saying, I didn't try to steal everyone's money. He is literally securing sympathy so when he's not prosecuted, everyone understands. Dude, $8 billion is missing. Where is it? I'm just gonna say this. If this guy was black, he would already be under the jail. I mean, black men have said things and ended up in jail. What's crazy is that the right-wing media will only talk about his left-wing connections, and the left-wing media will only talk about his right-wing connections. Bottom line, all of you are still just a bunch of lazy, lousy, low-life liars that are hidden, hypocritical haters.
Genzo.
Have you heard about what's happening in North Carolina with the Supreme Court?
Yeah, that just sort of feels like trying to take the decision out of...
Exactly. Out of the people's hands.
Right. I just think it's people feel like there's an issue, and so people are trying different things. But I just think that the issue is the one that's been staring us in the face for a really long time. It's like, why is my basement flooded? Well, because there's a pipe underneath my sink that's been leaking, and I've been too lazy to deal with it because it's a boring issue, and I got everything else going on in my life. And it's like, but I've ignored it so long that it's caused major damage to my property. I think it's gerrymandering. It's just, we arrived at a situation where politicians can choose their voters instead of voters choosing their politicians. So all the incentives are shifting, and they're not listening to them because they don't have to. Because they can redraw a map and choose based on information they've got from Google or what have you.
Or the census.
Yeah, and choose their specific voters that they know will vote for them and guarantee a certain amount of seats in each state. That needs to be broken up. And so the way I think ranked choice voting helps with that, multi-district voting, open primaries. And it's just more about forcing competition in the vote so that there's more changeover and bigger consequences, and you re-incentivize politicians to advance ideas rather than trying to divide this versus that.
Money, 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 money over bodies.
And so I think one way to do that is ranked choice voting, because I think it's actually going in the direction to kind of more an answer, which is I think we're looking at consequences of what gerrymandering can do to the political system after like hundreds of years of doing it. I think ranked choice voting, five-star voting, open primaries, all that kind of stuff is a good solution to depolarize people, get everybody out of the tribal mindset, and reward people for running on ideas rather than
The party they're affiliated with.
demonization. Because it's easier to run, you can demonize your opponent because then you don't actually have to have any good ideas. And so that's a problem, is we need to incentivize our politicians to run on ideas rather than, well, at least I'm not the other guy.
Right.
So that's my take on it.
Have you heard about what's going on in like Texas in terms of the border and what Greg Abbott is doing, how he's busing migrants to Philadelphia, to Chicago, and yeah, how does that make you feel?
I mean, it makes me feel used, because I feel like they use a lot of people, especially, from my demographic, for hard work and labor. And that's what we want to do. We want to work, but we also want to be included and be compensated for that, because we also pay taxes and contribute to the local economy as well.
No, absolutely not. No, I mean, they're trying, with Obamacare first, then Medicare and all that, but community college, but it can't do nothing with Medicare. You still have to pay. Community college, okay, get a degree that nobody recognizes, nobody likes. So I mean, you still gotta pay tuition somewhere else. So it's a fake democracy or socialism, whatever you call it. And a lot of people like to connect socialism with the communism. Completely different things. So I feel like they're kind of scared of the shadows of the Cold War or whatever, the old America. And I don't know, I feel like if they lived in not specifically Italy, because I would say Italy has a lot of corruption, so it's not the best example, but places like Sweden or Germany, that their economy is great, their customer care is just as good as America, and they have public healthcare, public education, and they're just fine. Even the average income is pretty good. They're a democratic country.
Genzo.
Christmas is 12 days away, so I figured I'd come up with 12 gifts my government will give me for 2023. 12 congressional hearings. Expect a new one every 2 months. 11 new Trump riots. Anytime he loses anything, he will cause a riot. 10 more $1 billion for Ukraine. How much more money y'all gonna give them? $9 per gallon for gas. 8 new QAnon conspiracies. Well, at least we'll have some content. 7 vice president sightings. Yeah, she gonna be outside for the holidays. 6 Plan B pills for our Supreme Court justices. Cause you know they'll need them. 5 orange jumpsuits for all the Trump's advisors. John Eastman, Roger Stone, Michael Flynn, Alex Jones, Jeffrey Clark for sure. A 4th race for Beto O'Rourke to lose.
Oh, you almost had it. Oh.
3 new COVID variants detected by Dr. Fauci. And 2 large magnifying glasses to help Carrie Lake and Trump see that they just lost. And on the last day of Christmas, my government gave to me one big bag of lies. In all seriousness, though, we are at a place with our government that we can't trust anything that they say. And this is supposed to be for our own good. But is it, though?
Genzo.
With everything going on and the midterms behind us, I just want to remind everybody that right now is not the time to give up or take a break from fighting the good fight. There are still battles to fight for women's rights, for your equality, and for your right to vote. Just because the midterms have passed doesn't mean that these things are not still happening every single day. And as always, stay awake and aware. I'm Jhone, and you've been in the Gen Zone.